Cruising Kitsap. I'm Samantha McGuire. Since 1985, America has been celebrating Parks and Recreation Month in July. For today's episode, we thought we'd take you on a tour of some of the great parks located in Kitsap County. We're starting at Hansville at the Point No Point Park. I'm standing here with Jeff Gales from the United States Lighthouse Society. Hi, Jeff.
Hello.
Tell us a little bit about the lighthouse and when it was built.
Point No Point was built in 1879. It was the first lighthouse built on Puget Sound, but not in Washington State. It's a really beautiful little lighthouse. It actually has a sister lighthouse. Discovery Park in Seattle has a lighthouse just like Point No Point. It's called West Point Lighthouse. Well, the property itself is still owned by the U.S. Coast Guard. This is still an active aid to navigation, and you can tell just behind the Fresnel lens up there, which is on display, there's actually a modern rotating beacon that the Coast Guard maintains. Kitsap County Parks has a long-term lease with the Coast Guard to keep the property open to the public, and they also work with a small group called the Friends of Point No Point. And the Friends of Point No Point, their main goal is to interpret the lighthouse history and to keep it open to the public on the weekends, which they do very well. And then the U.S. Lighthouse Society, we're in the mix, and we actually have our headquarters here in the Keeper's residence. We have a very good partnership, and it's all about creating awareness about this property and restoring it and to preserve it for future generations. So we have a really good thing going. So we have the parks who takes care of the parks. We work with the Parks Department to help maintain the buildings and restore them. And of course we have the friends that keep the building open, to keep the lighthouse itself open to the public. Point No Point Lighthouse is open to the public on weekends through the help of volunteers and the Friends of Point No Point. They actually open at 11 o'clock and they close at 4 p.m. And in addition to that, we've worked with the Friends and the Kitsap County Parks to open another building to the public, which is the Historic Keepers Workshop, which is on the opposite end of the station. And in there we have some interpretive displays about lighthouses and lighthouse lenses and a little museum shop where people can come in and buy some souvenirs, what have you. And the other building, of course, is where we're headquartered, the Keepers Duplex, where the keepers used to live. And our half is the offices, and then the other half is actually a vacation rental where people can come and spend the night and be a lighthouse keeper for 1 or 2 or as many nights as you want.
Is there a fee to tour the lighthouse, Jeff?
No, there's no charge. I mean, obviously, if somebody wanted to make a donation, the Friends of Point No Point, U.S. Lighthouse Society could accept those. We're a nonprofit 501c3 organization. But the goal for our organization in partnership with the Kitsap County Parks and the Friends is to give access to all the historic buildings at this light station at no charge, free. It's a public park, and we want people to come in and learn about the history of the lighthouse and the history of this property. One important aspect of this property is the fact that the Point No Point Treaty of 1855 was signed right here, right at that spot where the monument is located, which was an important landmark treaty signing for the Port Gamble-Sklallam tribe and a number of other local tribes. So we have a connection not only to lighthouse history here, but to Native American Indian history here. And of course, there's the geology and the wilderness and wildlife and the marine history. I mean, you really got one-stop shopping here. Hansville, for many years, was known for its fishing resorts. Now, fishing resorts weren't just in Hansville. They were in other places around Puget Sound. But Hansville had a number of them. And unfortunately, there's only a few buildings remaining that beckon back to the days of the fishing resorts. People will tell you from all over the Puget Sound region that this was a great place to come fish, and that was from the early 1800s, possibly before, all the way up into the mid to late 80s. And as unfortunately the fish population started to decrease, the fishing resorts kind of died out a little bit. But the history of them is still here, and the people who worked at the fishing resorts and owned them are still here, and we're trying to incorporate that history to this property as well, along with as I said, the lighthouse history, the treaty signing and the Native American history, and all of the wonderful wildlife and geology and marine history. So all of that's a work in progress.
It's a beautiful property, and thank you so much for talking with us. the Newbury Hill Heritage Park, located at the southeast corner of Northwest Newbury Hill Road and Titan Place Northwest at the Clahalia Secondary School. This park is just shy of 1,100 acres and is dedicated to recreation and wildlife preservation. You can enjoy hiking, bicycling, horseback riding, and wildlife viewing here. I'm at Viewpoint Park, and I'm with Carol and Rex Tauscher. They are the president and the past president of the West Side Improvement Club. Now, Rex and Carol, you have a lot of love for this park. Carol, you're in charge of organizing exactly what to make sure that this park runs.
Well, the park needs to be opened in the mornings, and then it needs to be secured at night. And when we first started back in 2010 and got the park opened again, we had several members of the club that were willing to take on the task. But over the years now, I have two very close neighbors to the park who aren't even members willing to take on the duty, and it's been a real blessing.
Rex, you've been involved with the park since 1976. Can you tell me a little bit about your club, the West Side Improvement Club, and the benefits of the park here to the community?
Yes, the West Side Improvement Club had many improvements to the area, and it was closed here a couple of years ago, and the club decided that they needed to get it opened, and we volunteered to be stewards for the park. And the county agreed that they would allow us to open it, and we got additional community involvement and also Washington State Youth Academy to come down and clear Scotch broom and berry vines, and we had a large involvement with the USS Stennis and the VFW, the Fleet Reserve, and members of our own club. We wanted to make sure it was kept open for public use.
Well, on behalf of the citizens of this area, I say thank you. It's a lovely park, and Rex himself mows the lawn, which is really neat. So the gazebo is one of the most beautiful views, I think, down here. It's just a really neat little getaway, and thank you, Rex and Carol, for your time and telling us a little bit more about this enjoyable park, and thank you for all your hard work here. Thanks for watching Cruising Kitsap. Whether you've got a young child looking for the perfect playground, I hope these parks have been informational and that you'll get out there and enjoy all that Kitsap County parks have to offer. Hope to see you next time. I'm Samantha McGuire.